The toast. I never liked champagne. Too bubbly. Too fake. Like the man I was about to marry. I stood under a sea of fairy lights, my wedding dress clinging to my skin like plastic wrap. Everyone was watching us, my parents, our friends, people I barely remembered inviting. And him. Dean. My soon-to-be husband. Smiling like a Hollywood angel, lifting his glass for a toast. To love, to new beginnings, he said, his eyes locked on mine. I raised my glass and smiled back. My face knew the drill. My insides didn't. Just 20 minutes earlier, I had walked in on him whispering in the shadows with my maid of honor. Her hand was on his chest. His lips were close to her ear. We're almost there, she'd said. 2 more hours and the money's ours. Then we get rid of her. Clean. Don't screw this up, Mia, Dean whispered back. No more improvising. They didn't see me. Or maybe they did and just didn't care. I took a breath. Deep. Cold. It settled in my ribs like ice water. I walked back into the spotlight, like a good little bride. Now, with everyone cheering and clinking glasses, I stared at the man who was supposed to be my forever. And I smiled. Because I had a new plan. The band struck up an upbeat jazz tune. People flooded the dance floor. Dean excused himself, probably off to whisper more sweet nothings into Mia's greedy ear. I followed a step behind, invisible in plain sight. They ducked into the wine cellar behind the catering station. I pressed my ear to the heavy oak door. She suspects nothing, Mia giggled. God, she's so clueless it's almost sad. We just need the honeymoon night, Dean replied. Once the transfer clears, we're ghosts. I backed away slowly, heart hammering, mind racing. The transfer. The money. It all made sense now. The sudden romantic proposal. The joint account. The prenup he insisted on me signing but refused himself. The way Mia looked at him when she thought I wasn't watching. I walked back into the crowd, my veil fluttering like a ghost's whisper. My mother called me over. I waved her off and picked up a mic. Can I say something? I asked the DJ. He nodded, surprised. Of course, Mrs. Hudson. Not quite yet, I said with a smile. Everyone turned toward me. Dean emerged just in time, looking flushed. I just want to thank everyone for coming, I began, voice shaking only slightly. And especially my incredible groom. Dean. He flashed his perfect smile. I feel so lucky, I continued. Because today I realized something truly important. He tilted his head. Curious. Nervous? I realized that love is a lie. A beautiful, shimmering, manipulative lie. A ripple ran through the crowd. Dean's smile faltered. Mia turned pale. And I raised my glass again, eyes burning. To the truth, I said, and drank deep. The music stopped. The silence swallowed everything. I was done playing their game. Now, they were going to play mine. Part 2, The Trapdoor. The silence cracked like thin glass. Then came the nervous laughter. Polite applause. Someone muttered, "Is this part of the speech?" Dean stepped forward, still playing the concerned groom. "Hey, babe, maybe we should sit down for a minute." I cut him off. "Don't babe me." There it was. A flicker in his eyes. He knew. I walked off the stage, letting the mic swing from its cord like a noose. My bridesmaids looked confused. My dad looked ready to throw hands. Mia was nowhere to be seen. I headed straight for the tent behind the catering truck, our emergency suite in case I needed a moment. Funny how much better I felt now that I knew the truth. I kicked off my heels and peeled off the veil like it was toxic. And then I did what any modern, scorned bride with a smartphone and a suspicious mind would do. I hit record. First, I forwarded myself the audio from the wedding hall's backup mic feed. The one I hacked earlier that morning, don't ask why, just call it intuition. Then I pulled up the dummy bank account Dean had set up for our honeymoon fund. His password was still his birthday and his favorite con, July 1988. Catch me. Idiot. There it was. A pending transfer. $500,000. Scheduled for midnight. To an offshore account under a name I didn't recognize. But I bet Mia did. I smiled to myself. They thought I'd just fall apart. Cry in a bathroom stall. Maybe even disappear accidentally before sunrise. Not tonight. Not this girl. A knock tapped the side of the tent. Dean. Of course. You okay in there, Liv? He asked, voice syrupy sweet. I took a breath and opened the flap. Yeah. Just needed to breathe. Can we talk? I blinked up at him like he was still my hero. He relaxed. Of course, babe. Listen, I know the speech was a little intense, but maybe we had too much champagne, huh? I nodded. Totally. I overreacted. His hand slid around my waist. Warm. Calculating. Let's sneak away, he whispered. Just you and me. Somewhere private. Perfect. We walked toward the garden path behind the barn, far from the guests. The lights grew dimmer. The music was muffled now. Dean pulled me into him. We can fix this. Yeah, I said, brushing his collar. But first, I need to show you something. I pulled out my phone. Played the recording. Dean froze. His face drained like someone yanked the plug on his soul. You recorded us? No, I said. I recorded everything. He grabbed for the phone. I stepped back. You know what's funny? I said. I always thought you were smarter than this. You don't know what you're doing, Liv, he growled. Oh, I do. From behind him, Mia appeared, looking panicked. Dean turned, startled. What are you doing here? She wasn't looking at him. She was looking at me. I think we have a problem, she said. You have no idea, I replied. Because I wasn't the only one who'd been watching. Part 3, The Switch. Mia's eyes darted between us, her breath shallow. Someone hacked the account, she whispered. The money's gone. Dean's face contorted. What do you mean gone? She shoved her phone at him. I checked. 30 minutes ago. It's empty. Zero. Nada. Dean blinked like she'd slapped him. That's impossible. I set up firewalls. You used your birthday as a password, I said. And your favorite movie. You're not exactly Jason Bourne. He lunged at me again. I sidestepped. You little. Careful, I said. You don't want to ruin your perfect wedding suit. Mia stepped in between us. Wait. If she took the money, why didn't she just run? I smiled, slow and dangerous. Because I'm not you. Dean ran a hand through his hair, pacing like a cornered animal. We can fix this. We just need to think. Oh, you'll have time to think, I said. Lots of it. In orange. What did you do? Mia hissed. I sent the recording, I said. To your burner contacts, to your fake shell companies, to the local FBI field office, oh, and to my cousin who works for Dateline. They love a wedding story. You're bluffing, Dean spat. I stepped closer, phone in hand, showing the sent messages. Their faces dropped. Liv, Mia said, softer now. We can make a deal. You walk away with a cut, 20%. We disappear. Everyone wins. You know what I learned from watching you two? I asked. The con only works when the mark doesn't know it's a con. She opened her mouth. Closed it. You underestimated me, I added. Classic mistake. From the garden path, we suddenly heard voices, my dad, the groomsman, and 2 off-duty cops from our guest list. Dean's eyes flicked toward the sound. He bolted. Mia didn't. She just slumped to the ground, like the weight of everything finally snapped her spine. Go on, I said to her. Cry. It's good for the camera. She looked up, mascara bleeding down her face. You think you're the good guy here? No, I said. I think I'm the survivor. Dean didn't get far. My dad tackled him in the hydrangeas like a linebacker. The cops dragged him up, cursing. One guest live-streamed the whole thing. Gotta love modern weddings. I stood there, barefoot, wedding dress muddy, mascara smudged, and victorious. The crowd began gathering again. Guests whispering, cameras flashing. Everyone wanting answers. And I was ready to give them. But just before I stepped toward the light, Mia spoke again. Her voice was flat. There's someone else. Bigger than us. You think you've won, but you don't even know what you're in the middle of. I froze. She smiled through her tears. You just made yourself a target. And suddenly, the ground under my feet didn't feel so steady anymore. Part 4, The Guest Who Wasn't Invited. The moment Mia said it, you just made yourself a target, I felt it in my spine. Like a piano string snapping. The garden lights buzzed above us. Somewhere, someone started the music again. Because what else do you do at a wedding that just turned into an FBI sting? You keep dancing. I walked away from Mia, still sitting in the grass like a wilted bridesmaid, and rejoined the crowd. They swarmed me like bees, phones out, eyes wide, questions flying. Liv. Is it true? Was this all a setup? Is Dean really? I smiled. Cool. Calm. Controlled. This wasn't the wedding I expected, I said into someone's phone camera, but it was definitely one to remember. That got a laugh. Thank God for adrenaline. I made my way to the tent where they were holding Dean. He sat cuffed, face bruised, glaring like a man who'd just realized the game was never his to win. You ruined everything, he muttered. No, Dean, I said. I corrected everything. Do you even know who you're messing with? That's the second time someone said that to me tonight. I leaned closer. Maybe it's time you start telling me. He looked away. But I saw it, the hesitation. The fear. That's when I noticed him. A man I didn't recognize. Standing by the edge of the tent. Watching me. Too well dressed to be security. Too calm to be a curious guest. He smiled when our eyes met. Raised a glass. Then turned and disappeared into the shadows. My stomach flipped. I turned to the cop beside Dean. Hey. That guy, by the fence. In the gray suit. Do you know him? The cop looked. Who? He was just there. Nothing. No one. I scanned the crowd again. Gone. And then my phone buzzed. No caller ID. I stepped away from the noise, heart pounding. Hello? A smooth voice. Calm. Measured. Male. Impressive performance tonight, Olivia. You've earned our attention. Who is this? You exposed amateurs. Well done. But you're playing in a larger arena now. What do you want? To offer you a choice. You're clever. Resourceful. We like that. I swallowed hard. Who is we? The line went dead. I stood there, staring at my reflection in the catering truck's chrome surface. Who the hell had I just pissed off? And worse, what did they want with me? Behind me, someone cleared their throat. I jumped. It was Mia. Still cuffed. Still dangerous. They'll come for you, she said. No matter how smart you think you are. Then they better be fast, I replied. Because I'm done running. She laughed once, dark and hollow. No, sweetheart. You're not running. She leaned in. You're just getting started. Part 5, The Envelope. By the time the guests had gone and the cleanup crews arrived, I was still in my wedding dress, torn, grass-stained, and clinging to me like a warning label. The cops took Dean and Mia away in separate cars. My dad tried to hug me, but I pulled away. I needed space. I needed air. I needed answers. Then I saw it. On the seat of my car. A small, cream-colored envelope. No stamp. No handwriting. I looked around the parking lot, empty. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single sheet of thick paper. No greeting. Just 4 words. Meet us. Midnight. Observatory. Below it, a symbol I didn't recognize, 2 overlapping triangles, one inverted. Like a compass. Or a trap. I sat in the driver's seat, heart thudding. This was insane. I should have called the police. Or the FBI. Or my therapist. But instead, I drove. The observatory sat at the edge of the city, high above the lights, where the sky felt raw and honest. I pulled into the lot at 11:57. No cars. No people. Only the building and that endless, quiet sky. I stepped out. The night was cold. My dress whipped in the wind like something trying to escape me. The observatory door creaked open. A man stood there. Same one from the wedding. Gray suit. Calm smile. I was hoping you'd come, he said. I didn't move. Who are you? Someone who appreciates what you did tonight. You exposed liars, thieves. You played the game better than the people who invented it. I didn't do it for you. No. But now you're on the board. He motioned me inside. Come. You should see what's next. I hesitated, then followed. Inside, the dome glowed with soft, white light. Maps covered the walls. Screens blinked with security footage, some of it from my wedding. But not just the wedding. Dean. Mia. Airports. Hotel lobbies. Foreign cities. People I'd never seen before, but whose faces were circled in red. I turned slowly. What is this? Think of it as a collective. A group that identifies and intercepts people like Dean. And sometimes recruits people like you. I'm not joining anything, I said. I want my life back. He smiled. Then you should have walked away tonight. But you didn't. He handed me a tablet. On it, files. Bank records. Offshore transactions. Photos of people who'd vanished. At the bottom, my name. I stared at it. What is this supposed to mean? You're already in it, Olivia. They were just the start. The screens behind him flickered again. A woman in a red dress. In a casino. Her face familiar. Mia. But she was supposed to be in jail. She escaped an hour ago, the man said. With help. She's not done with you. The lights flickered. I stepped back. And suddenly realized? I wasn't being recruited. I was being warned. Part 6, The Escape Clause. The man in the gray suit didn't flinch when the lights went out. But I did. My whole body tensed, eyes straining in the dark. Somewhere behind us, a low hum started, mechanical, deliberate. A generator? Then, click. The lights snapped back. He was gone. Not a sound. Not a footstep. Just me, the blinking monitors, and a feeling like ice crawling under my skin. I stumbled backward, heart hammering. The tablet was still in my hand, the screen flashing, tracking active. Wait. Tracking who? I tapped the screen. It opened to a live location. Zoomed in. A red dot pulsing, heading toward my apartment. I bolted for the exit, dress dragging, shoes lost long ago. My car was still in the lot. I jumped in, hands shaking, engine roaring to life. Come on, I muttered, throwing it into gear. I drove like I was trying to outrun my own heartbeat. Every stoplight felt like a threat. Every car behind me like a tail. Mia had escaped. And she knew where I lived. Of course she did. She helped pick the place. When I finally screeched into my driveway, the apartment looked quiet. Too quiet. No lights. No movement. But I knew better than to trust peace. I climbed the back stairs, taking them two at a time, tablet clutched to my chest. I had one thing on my side, surprise. I slid my spare key into the lock, slow, silent. Pushed the door open. And stopped. She was sitting on my couch. Hair damp. Different clothes. Calm. As if we hadn't just blown up our lives. Hey, Liv, Mia said, smiling. Miss me? I stood frozen. How? Turns out your FBI friends aren't very good at keeping secrets. Or prisoners. I looked around. No sign of weapons. No backup. But she didn't need either. Not with what was in her hand. A flash drive. This has everything, she said. Names. Accounts. The group that brought you in? They're not what you think. Neither are you, I snapped. She laughed. Touché. Then she held it out to me. What is this? A trade. You help me disappear. I give you the truth. You expect me to trust you? No, she said. But I know you're too curious not to look. I hesitated. Reached for it, slowly. Then a laser dot landed on her chest. We both saw it. Mia's face dropped. Liv, they found us. I turned toward the window. A silhouette. Rifle raised. Crack. The glass shattered. Mia dove. I screamed. The bullet missed, barely. We scrambled behind the couch. I thought they wanted me alive. I yelled. They don't want me alive. Mia shouted. And then I knew. They weren't watching me. They were using me. Part 7, The Truth Hurts Louder. We didn't wait. I grabbed Mia's arm and yanked her through the kitchen as another bullet punched through the wall. The flash drive was still clenched in her hand. We crashed out the back door into the alley, breath fogging in the cold, hearts slamming. Where's your car? She barked. Towed after the wedding, I gasped. Because why wouldn't the worst day of my life come with a parking violation? She cursed and took off down the alley. I followed, both of us running like prey that had just realized the hunt wasn't over. 3 blocks later, we ducked into an all-night laundromat. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The air reeked of detergent and desperation. We collapsed behind an industrial dryer. Mia shoved the flash drive into the side of the tablet I still had clutched to my ribs. It whirred. Loaded. And then everything changed. There they were. Faces. Names. Video clips. Audio files. Bribes. Kill orders. Disappearances. This wasn't just about Dean and Mia. This was a Black Ops private intelligence group called Vireo. They didn't work for governments. They sold governments. And sometimes, when useful, they destroyed them. And Dean? Dean was just a pawn. A shiny object. A disposable foot soldier. But me? I was never supposed to know. Until I did. Mia pointed to one file. My breath caught. It was me. Surveillance video. From months ago. Before I met Dean. My job. My favorite cafe. Me jogging with headphones in. This wasn't random, I whispered. No, Mia said. They chose you. But why? Mia turned toward me. Her face softened, just a crack. Because of your mom. I stared at her. What? She wasn't just a lawyer, she said. She was a whistleblower. She tried to expose Virio 10 years ago. Vanished in a car accident. My vision blurred. You're lying. I'm not. She got too close. And now, so have you. I stood up too fast. This is insane. All of it. I didn't know at first, she said, following me. I thought you were just another mark. But then I found the files. And I knew we were both being played. The door to the laundromat dingled. We froze. A woman stepped in. Dressed like someone trying not to be noticed. She looked at us. Right at us. And smiled. I'd say it's nice to meet you, Olivia, she said. But we've met before. You just don't remember. My skin went cold. She pulled something from her coat. A small silver device. The lights flickered. Mia moved. Too slow. Thwack. Something hit me. Hard. Everything tilted. Colors bled sideways. And then, dark. Before I blacked out, I heard her voice again. Welcome to the real world. Part 8, Checkmate. When I came to, I wasn't in the laundromat anymore. I was in a room. Sterile. White. Like a lab, but too quiet for science. No windows. One door. And a camera in the corner blinking red. I sat up. My head throbbed like someone had dropped a piano on it. Then the door opened. And my mother walked in. Alive. Older. Thinner. Eyes heavier. But her. Hi, sweetheart, she said like she'd just come back from the grocery store. I couldn't breathe. This isn't real. It is. I promise. I'm sorry for the way this had to happen. I stood up. You're dead. I saw the faked. For your protection. My protection from what? She looked at the camera. Then back at me. From them. Them meant Virio. She walked over and sat, leaving a space beside her. They've had eyes on you since you were 17. I tried to keep you out. But then you met Dean. You let him into my life? No. He was a test. One I didn't approve of. But you passed. Passed? Are you serious? I know it sounds cruel, but you were never just a random target. You were born into this. The daughter of a woman they couldn't silence. And a man who helped build them. I blinked. Dad? She nodded. He didn't know how deep it went. But once he did, he made a deal to protect you. I ran. He stayed. I paced the room. You're telling me my whole life has been, what? A simulation? An audition? No. I'm telling you it was a shield. Until now. The door opened again. Mia stepped in. Bloody lip. But alive. Nice nap, she muttered. I couldn't even look at her. You knew. This whole time. I didn't know everything. But I knew enough to want out. My mother stood. You have a choice, Olivia. You always did. Join us. Help us take Vireo down from the inside. Or leave, disappear, and let them rebuild stronger. I laughed. One of those dry, cracked laughs that sound like the start of a breakdown. You're asking me to destroy a secret intelligence syndicate that's been running the world behind the curtain? Yes. No pressure then. Mia smiled faintly. For what it's worth, I'm in. Partly because they tried to kill me. Mostly because I'm bored. I turned to the camera. They were watching. Always. I leaned forward, eyes locked on that blinking red dot. My name is Olivia Hale, I said. And I wasn't supposed to survive. But now that I have. I reached into the table drawer beside me. Pulled out the file labeled Phoenix Protocol. I'm going to burn it all down. The screen went black. Somewhere, far away, alarms began to blare. Vireo had underestimated the wrong bride. The end.